Howdy, I'm Scribby, followed with the two other developers of this game, Lord and Stojo. Today we're going to take you through this autistic game. You want to say hi?
Yo, I'm Lord, and I helped make Ellie's. It's really bad.
Yeah. What about you, Stojo?
Hi, my name is Stojo, and I made the 3D models for ELLIE'S.
Yeah. Okay, let's go down this autistic wormhole of a game.
Yeah.
This is the warning screen. It's so cool.
It's really based.
Yeah, let's go with that. The menu. Oh man.
The
Look
Ellie's
at these
menu.
red events.
There's like 300 events or some nonsense.
The Ellie's menu is a funny story because there was probably around like 8 different versions of it, like floating around development in one point in time. It changed like every other build.
Yeah, it was one of the things that was subject to a lot of change.
And the funniest part though is at the end of the day, the menu is very similar to like the very first version compared to like the others. Like it almost came full circle. The only really difference is like the positioning of most of the text.
Yeah. There is a lot. Yeah, this went through a shitload of changes. This was awful. Holy crap.
How long did this like extras menu take to make?
A long time. It was a pain in the ass. Trying to make it do it all seamlessly like this was a pain in the like it's fairly simple, straightforward, but trying to get it so it's seamless or really well seamless is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, because all of this is on one frame, which for those who don't use Click Team, pretty much means you have to unload the other stuff before you load the new things in to keep the background the same, and it's just kind of a shithole.
Yeah,
It's very messy.
Or I can't. Originally, this was supposed to be a calendar, but I couldn't get it to look right in 3ds Max. So I go, fuck it, I'll go to the old school FNaF one. I kind of wish I did the calendar though.
The calendar would have been so cool.
Yeah.
But
I still have the renders for the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, send the renders, Dojo, so we can look at them. Oh, all the 7s. I love the 7s.
Yeah, those are interesting. This is a hideous frame. I hate everything about this frame. It's disgusting. From the way how there is so much shit going on. There is some real nasty lines of code. Like this is not that bad, but it gets worse and worse and worse. It's
the entire Ellie's MFA was coded mainly by Scribby, but it was built upon so much from like the very beginning that by the end of development, the entire like main game is just spaghetti. It's just.
It was awful. It is awful work. This one is the biggest offender yet.
Well, like the issue with the Ellie's office is from a Click Team standpoint, there's like animations, like specifically the light turning off, and because it was done through animations instead of like writing it through code, which would have been way smarter, there had to be a render for every single possible outcome twice, meaning the game's entire file size is practically doubled because there had to be one version with the light on and light off, and that just causes so many issues in the actual like main game's programming.
Whew, I wouldn't do that again. Cameras, they're okay. Software did a lot of the stuff with the GUIs that didn't get out of the fucking window, so you didn't get to pull Deridimus and drag him outside of the window.
The original versions of the windows, if you just dragged it off the screen, they do a really bad like slide, just like back in the pod parts.
Yeah, like if you pushed them out, they'd push back in. It was real funny.
It was really goofy. Well, okay, so I don't know if we've mentioned it yet. There were 3 different versions of Ellie's. There was version 1, which started off, was that 2017?
Oh yeah, early 2017. Yeah.
Or early 2017 is when Ellie's like first began, and that was like it was called V1. and V1 was like,
It was kind of
if
a
it-
test bed of me fucking around with things. And
yeah, it was about like the visual quality of Sea Shift 2. If any of you have like played that game, it was like a little above that.
yeah.
But V1 wasn't in development for too long. But then Ellie's V2 started being developed, which was, if any of you saw the original trailer when that came out in 2018, that was like a really big deal at the time, because for the time it looked like pretty visually great. And it was, you know, it was like the cool new Scribby game, and it was like shaping up to be like really cool. But during V2's development, as it was getting kind of close to being done actually. Like in the grand scheme of things, V2 was maybe like a month or two away from being finished. Because of the like rapidly rising standards of like FNaF fan games, which is still an issue today, to where each game's trying to be bigger and better. We got kind of put in a fucky situation to where if we were going to release V2, the reception of it may have been like lacking. Like gameplay was like, you know, standard enough, but it was like cluttered. It was filled with like too much shit and like kind of confusing. So after like a really long night, me, Scribby, and Steven just decided to like scrap it all and start from the beginning. Which, was that a good idea?
Yeah, I think it was a good idea. I mean, V2 had a lot of interesting quirks to it, and it just ended up being too bloated. And
Yeah,
I was like,
It was, yeah, bloated's the right word. There was a lot to it. For the time, it would have been a fine enough game, but I don't think it would have aged very well. And that's like what matters. Also, if we're actually speaking of V2, my initial involvement on the ELLIE'S team came to where I went up to Scribby and offered to make a multiplayer version of ELLIE'S.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was ELLIE'S multiplayer, and it was we got a decent amount done. Like you could like play it.
Yeah, it was
but
playable.
there was a playable version of ELLIE'S V2 online, and it was like really cool and click, because multiplayer wasn't really like a big thing at the time. There had never really been a multiplayer FNaF game, but that never came out because we eventually realized it wasn't gonna shape out too well.
Yeah, I don't know. The ELLIE'S multiplayer is kind of a precursor to Rat Race.
Yeah, so if you're listening to Rat Race is the game I'm like making now, a lot of it is just built off of like the initial document me and Scribby wrote for ELLIE'S multiplayer. Like a lot of the like mechanics have just kind of like transferred over, and that's really cool, I think, because the project was never really fully abandoned. It was just saved for a time we could properly execute it, I think.
Yeah.
Because me, Scribby, and Steven, all three of us are just making Rat Race now instead, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyways,
so it's an evolution.
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck.
it's just evolved.
Yeah, then
but
that was V2's multiplayer. Then V3 had like a piggy style multiplayer crap.
it was like RPG. It was really bizarre.
It was.
It
It was like
it
supposed
was
to
a
be
puzzle
seasons and
game.
stuff. Yeah, it was like an online puzzle game, and you had like run away from the animatronics, and that one was also playable.
That was also playable. So what that one was, is you were in the ELLIE'S V3 map, and there were you could play up to 8 players, I think. And anyways, there was like around like 6 night guards and like 2 animatronics, and the fucking night guards would have to like solve puzzles to like escape the building, while the animatronics like were chasing you like the game Piggy. Because at the time our friend group just like got really into the Roblox game Piggy, because like it's an awful game, but it's like fun to play, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, so we were like engulfed in it, and Scribby just had the idea to make like a 2D version of that. So it was like a top-down puzzle game, and I remember it was like really buggy, but it was cool. To just like, there was one glitch. I'll try and find a GIF of it. When a player joined, there was a glitch to where all the players would merge into one like monster, like amalgamation. and everyone would be controlling one player. It was a shit show.
Oh my
So that
god.
so that very obviously also got canned because it never. I don't even know if that like has ever seen the public eye. That version.
Was an interesting idea though.
It was
Yeah,
an interesting idea.
Yeah,
but...
we had Winsome was making sprite work for it and stuff.
But around the time of Ellie's V3, though, that was also when me and Stojo were making our own games, specifically called Black Smoke and the Night Shift at Sparky's.
Oh no.
The idea we had is the three of us were like, okay, we're gonna make the FNaF fan game extended universe. So it was Ellie's, Black Smoke, and the Night Shift at Sparky's. They all took place in one combined universe and shared one combined lore.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
One of those games got completely retconned, the other got cancelled, so you can probably assume how that went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a cool idea. If we executed it correctly, the idea would have been like really cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if I remember correctly, they shamed the same killer. Black Smoke built on top, or Sparky built on top of Black Smoke, and then.
yeah, Black Smoke was the prequel. Black Smoke was like the first restaurant, and then shit went down there, and like it failed. So then the Night Shift at Sparky's, like, the Black Smoke building was purchased for the Night Shift at Sparky's game. So it was like the plot twist was, oh, it's the same building, but like different characters. And it was a cool plot twist. And then that like went on to like be the Ellie's lore. Because in the Ellie's lore, the Night Shift at Sparky's and Ellie's took place in like the same week or something.
Yeah, at the same time.
The same time, yeah. But that was a whole other shit show that happened again. It was really funny. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, I think the idea of an extended fan game universe, like, I know Pop Goes and Five Nights at Candy's, like, very loosely has it, but, like, we had an idea for, like, a shared trailer launch. Like, it was gonna be the Ellie's trailer, then after the Ellie's trailer, it was gonna, like, glitch out, and then that'd lead you to the Black Smoke trailer, and that would lead you to, like, this, it was gonna be, like, a 3-trailer launch event. And this is before, like, the fan games at Freddy's existed. This is, like, 2018, 2019, we're coming up with this.
Yeah.
So this was like, it hadn't really been done before. But again, we were just like all young and stupid at the time to like actually pull it off.
Don't even get me started.
It was
Yeah. Yeah, our
But-
love the AI code. Fuck, I remember there was I vaguely remember how those trailers are gonna work. Yeah, start off Ellie's, jump off to Black Smoke, then go to Sparky's.
yeah, this was okay, so when Ellie's V3 was being made, the biggest thing to keep in mind is everything was being like rewritten and like redone from the start. And so we were just coming up with like ideas on them, like how to make the game different from the rest. And I guess I don't know who came up for like the extended universe. I think it was Scribby. But like, oh my god, this was so long ago thinking about it too. Like it was. All I remember like Ellie's V3 being though was like, what would the best fan game be? And you know, does Ellie's hit that mark? Probably not. But like, there's effort put into it. Like we tried. We made a decent game.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. The community's universal as a good game, but it's not the best, but it doesn't need to be a best or the best.
Ellie's biggest issue is it was setting out to be the best when
No,
it was.
That was the thing that hurt it probably the most, because it was the development up until this year or later mid this year. It was with the overworld and stuff, and that was supposed to be what would hold the game up. And then when the overworld got cut, because I started to realize how much content it was actually going to need, I didn't really properly address how I was going to go around the overworld. And I didn't really. It's like, oh no, it'll be fine. I mean, like, a lot of people like the game, but there's some people out there, and I don't blame them. It's like, that's it.
Again, that also kind of goes back to the state of like the FNaF fan game, like, you know, community right now. to where every game is trying to be better than the last, and that's getting almost to like it's demotivating, because ELLIE'S, to like at the time when we didn't really know much, we thought ELLIE'S had to be the greatest thing ever. So we had the idea for the main game, post-night segments, and overworld, and we just couldn't do it, which is why the game got stuck in development hell for
3 years.
3 years. It wasn't until like Scribby just finally made the decision to like, this game is never gonna come out unless like it gets like reduced. So the game is, people have said it's a shell of its former self, which I disagree with. The game is, it's exactly what it needed to be for it to like exist, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, like the game was, when we switched to like development shift from being a game to make for the community to like be the best, it only ever could come out when it became a game that just needed to be like made for ourselves.
Yeah, that was when I first started. I wanted to be the best, but as time unfolded, I realized that's not the best. That's not the strategy. Because if you try to reach it to be the best, you're gonna end up failing, and that's something I kind of learned midway, and then I started doing course corrections.
Yeah, you have to make what you yourself want to make and know you can make, not what like people expect you to make. And that's just why, when people have been making FNaF fan games consistently for 6 years, there are some people that can just make the best games by making what they want to make. But when people like try to strive for that, without the proper like abilities, that's when it becomes an issue.
Yeah, and if there's no passion backing it up, it falls on its end as well.
Yeah, when you're making something like a fan game, you're not making money off of it. Like, it doesn't work that way. So if money's not your driving force, the only thing that can truly drive you to make a good game is passion.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, what you want to do for the craft. So that's like the main,
Yeah.
like that's the main force.
There's people that jump in there for popularity's sake, and when their game usually comes out, it's not very good because it didn't have the passion behind it. It was only there for attention.
Exactly.
You
like
have to
video
have the passion
games,
for it.
they're an art form. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna like argue with that. Like, video games are art, and if there's no drive behind the art, then like what makes it any different than just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's working on I know for a little bit V4 was under production because I was like, well, I want to make this even better, and there was like kind of sister location doors and stuff you could push. I was remodeling the office to make it more rough, because one of the things I don't like about probably the biggest thing I don't like about ELLIE'S V3 graphically is the metals. I've never been able to make metals look roughed up, and I've had Rock try to help me on that, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong with it, but always the biggest thing I didn't like was the metals. So it's like, well, so V4, I'll make the metals more roughy. I'll make the atmosphere, like the building. I'll even remodel the building, or like build upon the building and make it more rough, dirty.
Something visually about ELLIE'S, I do think like you kind of hit the mark on, is it feels like kind of real compared to like a lot of like fan game locations, I think. Like, the ELLIE'S map as a whole just feels like, maybe not like the map layout, but the rooms themselves like feel like, yeah, that's what it would be like in real life. Like, there was a lot of thought behind the designs of each camera. And speaking of that, so we had a giant like dev server for ELLIE'S like when it was being made. So it was like our entire friend group, which is like a lot of fan game devs, just kind of like in this server giving feedback on everything. And Scribby would spend like days on like each room.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he can show you in the extras menu,
Yeah.
like the amount of like time.
Yeah, there was a lot of iteration. Yeah.
Yeah, all these screenshots were like sent in the dev server like one at a time. Like go back a little bit. Look at just like the movement of the posters and like there, like the way the posters like move, like it was like that was the dev server like giving feedback, like the carpet changing, like all of that is like
Yeah.
I remember this room being made.
Oh, like 'cause I never was able to use this room because for a reason when I tried to do a keyframe, it crashed my old computer. So I was never able to do anything cool with this room. So I had to. I was like, this would have been a cool room for a trailer, but it's like, nope, you suck.
This stage I also think holds up really well.
Yeah, the stage is probably the
fucking trees.
nicest
like,
camera.
Like the stage looks really cool.
Yeah, there's one of the old scrap characters. I think that's Momi.
Momi.
Yeah, that's
Momi. Yeah, there was Momi and Loaf. Loaf was gonna be the one in the cubby, and then Momi was on a stage. But I pulled them out because I had more cats, and I felt guilty only having them and none. So I was like, okay, I'll pull them out and put Austin and Hallie, and then there's for Hallie. And there's the 5th camera. This one, I kind of. What the freak was that? Oh, that's weird. Oh no. Whoopsie.
Is that the final game?
I hope not.
Making of The Office. Oh, I have some stories about The Office.
Yeah, The
the
Office.
stars.
Yeah, The Office.
The
is an
stars.
interesting one.
Like, go to The Office. I can like walk through every single change in The Office. Like, I remember that so vividly.
Yeah, I remember when I was making this, I was like, guys, I don't like how this looks. And I was like, oh wait a minute, add some shit in. Yeah, the kitchen.
Look at all these. So at the time, I worked at a McDonald's, and anyways, Scribby would like while making the kitchen, Scribby like asked me like, what did the McDonald's kitchen look like, and I had to like walk him through like what like the kitchen looked like.
Yeah.
So the Ellie's kitchen is slightly based off of McDonald's, and that's really funny.
Yeah. Oh shit, that has Loaf and Momi on it. Yeah.
What?
Oh, right there. It's Loaf and Momi right there, and then over time
They get changed.
Yeah. I think this is one of my favorite cameras, the TRTF room, the locker room.
TRTF. I hate TRTF.
I know this towel right here, it actually has hair. There's like 2 million hair fibers on that towel. I don't know why. There's one of these weird things. It's like, well...
Like, I like this hallway. This hallway felt real. Like, this feels like a real hallway that, like, you'd, like, walk in.
Yeah, that one was based off Chuck E. Cheese.
Didn't you go to a Chuck E. Cheese
Yeah,
and, like,
I
take
asked him,
reference
I was like,
pictures?
can I go to your Chuck E. Cheese to get reference images for my game? And I said, I preferably like to do it when you're closed so I can just take pictures and not worry about people. And the guy was like, yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah.
Alright, wait, no, slow down in the office. I want to talk through this one deliberately. So, the original idea, I made some concept art for the office, and the original idea I wanted to have was kind of claustrophobic, which is why in this first one it feels smaller. So go to the next one. And then instantly we kind of just changed that, and like it became like bigger, more like FNaF 1, because Ellie's was always supposed to be a FNaF 1, successor, so we can keep going after this. Just the lighting change, nothing noticeable.
Yeah, the original was going to be like proper ceiling lights and stuff, but I couldn't get them to look right because of noise. I'm like, well, shit.
So everything's going fine here. Like in the feedback server, like we're given ideas and like, we said the wood's too shiny, so well now it's getting less shiny.
One moment it gets yeah, there you go.
There it goes. So now things are looking good. All right. And here,
Stars.
Yeah.
there's a lot behind.
Just sent the whole dev server into like a total war.
So these stars, the dev server got so divided on if they were good or not. It was like 50-50 pretty much, like, because we did like a poll to keep them or get rid of them if they were good. And then it was everyone in the dev server screaming at each other, like calling each other like retarded. And just like saying like, shut up! The stars are good! And like we were getting so mad. Like everyone was fuming just because of these stars. And it was so go to the next one. So they were kept for a little bit. Like so we were like, okay, let's try repositioning them. So yeah, the next one they got repositioned and that wire was added. And that made everything just even worse.
Like, what
because
the fuck is this?
everyone was like, what the fuck is that wire? This is worse! And then, so they were there for a little bit, and I think eventually I did not like the stars. So I think eventually I just went to Scribby, and I was like, those are retarded, get rid of them. And so we got rid of the stars finally.
Yeah, I remember I didn't like the cork. I didn't like them on there. So like, what are those things to have? Oh, cork boards.
And then with the cork board, like you realize, there's not even room for the stars in the final version. Like, it wouldn't fit. If they were hanging from the ceiling, they would have fit. But like, you know, that would have been like too distracting, I guess.
Yeah, there's already a lot going on here. Oh my god, yeah. That thing was originally there. Holy crap.
The lighting was also a really big thing.
Yeah.
The lighting went through a solid, like, there were so many different passes and like variants. And like everyone like had fights over which lighting was better.
Yeah, I remember that the longest time I couldn't get the lighting to look good because the volumetrics fucked it. So that was a lot of fucking around until because you could see what was behind these things, and eventually I just made it so it was lit up. Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, hey guys, here's this test. I was like, oh my god, it's too bright.
Too bright.
Oh,
old poster drawn by Fazzy Funbear.
Yeah.
the poster was also a trigger, like the stars.
Yeah, people did not like the poster.
Every time there was a trigger in the server, we'd make an emoji based on whatever trigger. I remember a trigger one of the triggers was stars, another one was the poster.
So we'd make like trigger emojis, and then like a new rule would be added, and it would just be don't in all caps, then like mention, and then
Don't mention stars. Don't mention Fazzy poster.
It was so funny. And then the best part, no offense, Steven, but even the final poster is like pretty goofy.
I don't really like the final poster anymore because I got a lot better at drawing. I don't draw much better.
Yeah.
So these characters, I think, do a really good job at like, they look like FNaF 1 characters at least. Like they fit the style they were going for.
Yeah, if I could go back, I'd probably make them more show blizzy, a little bit more, like, but keep the FNaF 1 aspect to them.
Hatman.
This is a
Hatman.
Wait, what?
That is Hatman's old design was so much better, in my opinion.
I like the C-Shift 2 one the most.
Yeah, that's a fuse. Okay, hold on. Pull up the very first trailer of ELLIE'S. No, I want to like explain something.
Okay. Oh shit! No, they're all private. Damn it.
Oh, okay. When he was in the first trailer of ELLIE'S, there were these like art style by Scribby, and he traced over a fuse model to make them.
Yeah, I remember that. I was just like, here's the automatics, blah blah blah.
Isn't that the same fuse model?
No, that is a different fuse model.
I think it's the same one.
No, this one's different. This one I made recently, but this one, I don't remember. Probably a fuse model, who knows? But the only way I was able to make them look somewhat acceptable is by putting them through After Effects and putting effects on them.
Yeah.
Those are the two ghost characters.
Yeah.
I'll go to the jump scares. No, we need to talk about the jump scares.
The amount of force they have to lift themselves, like,
they're
this
so.
is my favorite, because he just like pulls momentum out of nowhere. Funk.
The jump scares are so goofy. Like they just jump.
One of the things I struggled the most was with noise, because I don't know, all my stuff was always noisy. And this is with fairly high sample rates. And
you didn't use denoisers.
When I used the Arnold's denoiser, it made the images really, really dark.
Oh my god, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, probably the biggest offender is probably Joe's, but...
Well, because in real life, Joe
in real life, you just tip over and fall over.
No, the cabinet would break, I think.
Probably.
Like, these are like 1,000-pound animatronics, right? Like...
Yeah.
Like, they would just break.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I know there was I don't. Yeah, the way how Austin was implemented in this game, because since Click Team's poop, everything's ran by an alternate value at the frame rate level. Because everything would get super out of sync, so I had to sync up the frame rate with the animation rate, and I hated doing this. It was so stupid.
Well, the original idea for Austin, which I had, was just like, it was a stupid idea, but it would be like he would monitor your camera usage, which is like kind of what he does anyway, but like it wouldn't be where he just opens the cabinet. He would very slowly open it, but also very slowly close it. So like if you open your camera a lot, every time like you closed it, it'd be slightly more open. But then like if you waited a while and you opened it again, like it'd be like more closed. He was basically just Foxy, but like in your office, you could like kind of like visually see him like always. But you know,
Yeah.
there was also the air horn mechanic that got scrapped. That was
like,
funny.
Yeah, it would blast. It would deafen the player and give you like Vietnam flashback going pew.
So what the air horn was is Hunter was initially going to be sound based, and so you were going to have to use like the building's like PA system to like play different vibrations that would either make him angry or like calm him down, and like you'd have to like play different ones depending on like his current mood. But if he made his way into your office, you could blow an air horn, and it would like fuck with his like like audio recognition systems, so it would like reset him back to the beginning. But it'd also make your hearing like muffled and like quieter for the rest of the night.
Wow.
Like this game went through so many different like gameplay iterations.
Yeah, it's iteration in the game, all this constant. I'd be like, okay, guys, what do you like of this? What do you don't like? And then make feedback. And do this happen over and over and over again for this game's entire life.
Yeah.
I know Ellie worked differently because she's different in the original builds. When she would turn her head kind of like Joe, but I didn't like that, so I made it so she was. I wanted at least each one to be like kind of themed differently mechanically, so they'd be like, I don't know. I didn't want each character to be a carbon clone of each other. I wanted each one to be like mechanically different and stuff.
I mean, that was kind of achieved. The only really issue is they weren't really explained well enough.
Yeah.
Like that was like the biggest issue on launch, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, okay, so some of them I was like, some people were actually thinking like, you had to wait until his eyes went off, but it was the way how I worded it kind of weird, but it was supposed to be when he turns his head, when his eyes turn off, when his head's turned, then he flash it, but some people, there's people who's like, this game's broken, and I'm like, no. Oh my god. Yeah, this was a post-launch thing to help people if like come to the office, blah blah.
Why are they all different actives?
I don't know why I made them different actives. That's a really good question.
Oh my god.
All the blood on the animatronics, that's not even in the actual renders. That was just like painted on in like paint.net, I think.
Yeah, we couldn't.
No, it was.
Yeah, it's painted.
I painted over them in Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah.
Oh, Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah, we couldn't. We couldn't get the fucking. We couldn't paint blood on the models. For whatever reason, they just crash and be like, okay, so we'll just do the next best thing. And
it's because we use 3ds Max.
Yeah, 3ds Max is poop. Yeah, like some of these noises.
I like that noise.
Yeah, it bothers me. Yeah, there is
You can see the polys.
Yeah, where's the?
Yeah, the weird normal map.
Yeah, there's some strange. Yeah, the polys right there. You can see them pretty well. I know there's one really bad offender, but most people haven't seen it. That was like one of the good medals I made. I don't know. All the other medals I couldn't make any good ones.
Austin.
Yeah, and there was I don't remember why I made them different screen. There was like one of these weird quirks. So I'm like, okay, making a different screen. His and hers.
It's so scary. I'm so scared.
The ending, which
Ending.
is, yeah, the winsome list. This was like a 10-minute long credit scene.
Credits. Oh
It
my
was
god.
like, I don't remember how long. One of these lines is really, really long because it has like.
I
Yeah, I
think
heard
that's
it.
3. Oh, that one.
Free sounds.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh
I'll
my
credit
God.
every single person that I used to remix their sounds.
I know one of the sounds in the game is me with a hammer
Yeah,
banging like my
dishwasher.
dryer.
Yeah.
Or yeah, washer, one of them. Like it's like the walking animation, I think. Like I went to my like dryer with a hammer and I just like hit it.
Yeah, I remember I remember when I was making this camera, I forgot to add the vent here, so they looked towards the wall, but there was nothing there. I was like, shit, and I had to go back. That was one of the last things I had to fix.
That's pretty funny.
There's where the fuck was it? Yeah, on camera 8, if you, cause there's that. Get out of here. Yeah, there's this thing where he comes into, but
Oh my god. This animation almost killed the game.
yeah, people were like, I don't like this, and it's like, I like this. It was like, I don't know what to do.
What it was is it's really bad. I still stand by that. It looks like he's swimming.
This
It
hat
looks-
clip's really.
His hat is clipping through the ceiling. It looks like he's swimming, and it just abruptly stops.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, you can see how bad it clips right there. But that was my fault because I never actually did any fit sizing on there. So when I put the animatronics in there, I'm like, oh shit.
But anyways, the dev server got deleted because of that, and like Scribby like left the internet for like a week because like, oh my god, there was so much. I stopped working on the game for like half a year because of that animation, because it caused so much petty bullshit between like the entire dev team.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember when these were 5 frames long. It was awful.
5 frames long.
They were like, I was looking at old development builds and it was just like, dunk. It wasn't very smooth. Like, this is fairly smooth. But those development builds were just 5 frames, so it only had 5 frames to go from on to off.
You should have used alpha blend coefficient.
I know I should have. I wish I did. But I chose to do it the retard way. I think I did the dumb way of the, yeah, I did the dumb.
I literally programmed a thing for Scribby to where all of these would be done in code instead of through
Then we have
animation.
like weird issues with them.
I couldn't fine tune it because the way you did the lighting in 3ds Max was like slightly like curved, so I couldn't figure out the math curve, and I think I got like lazy or something, so I just never bothered finishing it. So they got done through animations instead.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is.
I know there's an issue with this. If you turn off the light, it does a desync issue, but it's not as obvious as Austin, so it wasn't enough for me to care about it. But when Austin would pop this thing open, ooh, it was a big pop because you're like if something was running at 70 and both 70, they wouldn't be running at the frame they should have been, so they'd desync out of each other and it looked really weird. And then there's that issue when you flip the camera open, it doesn't pop. It just pops immediately in the camera until you get out, and then it starts working. That's a Click Team issue, and I asked them for help, but Click Team kind of gets bothered by me when I message them.
Click Team is the engine itself is like really broken, and we learned a lot of that making this game.
Yeah, the fact this game even works on it is astonishing. I was watching some videos. He was like, "Oh my god, he used SpongeBob's music." I'm like, "No, it's a pirate song." It's like, it's not from SpongeBob, you dillholes.
I love SpongeBob.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little salty when the game came out. People weren't understanding how Joe works. I'm like, what? But then the difference is they didn't have me holding their hand. They had Winsomeness. And the original phone calls, while funny, were pretty bad.
Okay, here's the thing with Winsomeness too. It's really funny because he's also the Winter Wonderland phone guy. I don't know. For those who know who Winsomeness is, he's just like a universal friend of ours, and he's the phone guy in both games, and it's really funny.
Yeah, I remember.
Like I think a few people mentioned that it's the same person.
Yeah, I remember. Remember people didn't like Winter Wonderland because of that, or they didn't like his voice or something.
With Winter Wonderland, there was a YouTuber who said he sounded like a dolphin toucher. I don't know what he meant by that, but it was really funny. Well, I think the Winter Wonderland phone calls, I think, are fine enough. His acting's just a little rough. Because, you know, it's our friend. He's not a voice actor. He's just, like, someone we were in a Discord call with. The original Ellie's phone calls were being done by our friend Dyer, and I feel really bad because they were not very good.
Yeah, I was like, hey, Dyer, you want to do phone calls? He's like, yeah, sure. And we hit up, and it wasn't very good. And I was like, he's my friend, and I don't want to say it's awful. I was like, don't worry.
It was, the phone calls were funny. They were like one of the last things done for the game.
Yeah.
I don't think, something a lot of people I don't think realized, most of Ellie's was made in like a month, honestly.
Yeah, and when everything started to come together, it was a lot of, like, everything outside of the overworld and the main night was done in about a month. Like, this was done.
Not modeling, we're talking like programming-wise.
Yeah, programming-wise.
Like, modeling and rendering took like half a year.
Yeah, it was a year and a half of rendering. That was the biggest problem with the game, is how slow. But that's not Arnold's fault. That's my fault, because I still don't understand its workflow correctly, because you have to optimize everything you do, and that's what I wasn't doing. So then it took hours and hours and hours, or days to render shit. There's times it took a week to render. Remember with V2 when I was doing its trailer too? I rendered something and then went off to Nevada. When I came back, it was all rendered. It was 1,000 frame animation. It took about a week and a half to render, but it was out of sync. And that ultimately was what led to the trailer being scrapped. And then eventually V3 happened, so I was like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, God. There was, yeah, the calendar, that was it, yeah. There was 4 characters in the game originally. Vasco was going to be in the game, but he never got very far. There was my 2 dogs, Huck and Norman. They were in V2 and scrapped, didn't return.
Huckleberry!
Yeah,
oh,
Huckleberry.
I remember that.
Huckleberry, and yeah, and then there was, those were modeled. Huckleberry, Norman, Loaf, and Momi. Those were all modeled, but they were scrapped. Huckleberry and Norman, I don't remember why. A lot of their mechanics got offloaded to Emma. Because they were both, because Emma does both. I remember in V2, one of them, if they went in the cameras, you had to flip away, and the other one, if they were in the hallways, you had to flip into the cameras. But so I just merged their 2 mechanics into Emma's. But shit.
Oh my god, there's so many scrap content.
Yeah. Eventually, I don't know what I'll do with the overworld. The overworld, I'm gonna hold off to it, because if I do come back to it, it'll be its own thing. But yeah, yeah, my old dead cat, blah blah blah.
I found some old Hutro renders.
You found some Huck renders? Yeah, this is some
Pro
of the,
renders.
the calendar system. Yeah. Yeah, those are some of the old scrapped characters and stuff. Yep. Some of the old scrapped characters. Yeah, that was, I can't remember who that was, but that was someone.
Here, there's more.
There's more. Yeah. I can't remember who that was. Yeah,
That's Huckleberry.
Yeah, those were some scrap characters. I know Loaf and Momi exist somewhere, but I don't know what happened to their model. I know I have their model somewhere, but I don't have 3D Max to actually open them anymore. But shit. Well, fuck, I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. I know there was a point in time where I was rendering the game when I was doing V4. There is this really funny, do I still have it? No, I probably don't. Was it in here? No, it wasn't. Fuck, I don't know. But it was, I wish I did. But in V4, when I was working on it, there's a little method where you can compress a sphere and turn it into a glass, and by that, if you do it such in a way, you can create a what the fuck is it called? It's where like the red and blues get shifted. I can't remember what it's called.
Chromatic Aberration.
Yeah, you can do the aberration with a little glass sphere by projecting it, and it looked really good, but it completely broke all the specular and transmissive reflections, so there was no reflections in the game. I was like, ah, shit. So then that's what kind of led to V4's death.
V4. Oh, look at that old game over screen.
The old V. Oh yeah, this is some old V2 stuff. That's Loaf, or remnants of Loaf. Yeah, there's more Loaf from V2. Loaf, I don't know what the fuck Loaf was. I think I remember she was like a hallucination or something. And she carried like a giant death stick or something like that.
Scythe.
Yeah, Scythe. Yeah, there's more of her. Holy fucking noise, this is V2. I've thought about releasing V2 on Game Jolt. Just make here, have an old version.
That'd be
I found
cool.
the full body, I think.
Yeah, Loaf's full body.
That's really old before I updated the models. That's very early.
Yeah, I know there was. Yeah, Vasco almost ended up in the game. Toxic, I was considered, but shit. I know in this coffee cup, I had to change the coffee cup because there was supposed to be coffee in it, but it came out as water. So then I tilted the cup up a little bit, so you couldn't see what was in there. But shit, it was stupid. This game stinks. Yo. Jovan. What other interesting things? Austin the Cubby. Yeah, there's like its own sound system. There's like all sorts like that. The atmosphere is dynamic, so if there's nothing much going on, you're not going to hear much. But as you get closer or it gets more tense, the atmosphere goes tense with the gameplay. So the atmosphere system's tied with the gameplay itself. Then there's the random ambience and stuff, so you can hear like shit like outside of the building. Like sometimes you can hear a car in the distance, or sirens, or wind, rain, people shouting, dog barking in the distance, stuff like that. And there's a lot of paranormal sounds.
That's so based.
I know, it's really based.
There's a lot of like little things that go into this game that like I don't think anyone ever really noticed.
No, a lot of people aren't gonna notice it. Like, it's really rare, but you can hear them. You can hear them talk if the animatronics talk. Like they'll like possess their voices for a second.
It's so cool.
What?
Yeah, like sometimes you can hear them, the animatronics speak. But it's very rare, but you can hear them speak sometimes. But it's not the animatronics speaking; it's the ghost. You remember Emma, when she was in the camera originally, you actually had to find what camera in, but she would give you like an audio sense. Like, if the audio was more to your left, she was going to be on a left-handed camera. If it was center, she was in the middle. If it was right, she was on a right-handed camera. But it's, as cool as an idea it was too confusing. Because people were like, I don't know where she's at. So eventually she was just kind of dumbed down. Like, she's in a camera no matter what. Whatever camera has, she pops in there. And these dumb subtitles, I don't know what's wrong with them. Maybe I'll come back and fix them. I don't know. But like, for some people, they'll run. Other people, they'll get stuck. And other people, they don't even work at all. I was like, oh, fuck. Is that a
yeah.
typo? That better not be a typo. Okay, I was gonna say if that just had one L, hello. Shit. Oh man. Well, yeah, I don't know what else we can talk about now. Well, but shit.
Yeah, I think this is that's mainly kind of the development of Ellie's. It was just, a giant shit show that got expanded upon. Wars started, friendships died, and Ellie's got made.
Yeah, basically it in a nutshell. Well, I guess I'll just end this silly thing now, and then we'll go from there. Holy fuck, it's 50 minutes. Oh well. Alright. Maybe sometime you'll hear from me again. Alright. Or don't you guys want to say bye as well?
If you don't hear from Scribby again, it's canonically because he's trapped in the Lieutenant's mansion making rat race.
Yeah.
Same with Stojo, they're coming with me.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'll be going into their basement now, and we'll go from there. Alright. Adios.